Var Nation, and welcome to this, the Memorial Day edition of DCU Tonight, the show where we typically talk about DCTV, DC Comics, and DC Universe and their happenings. This is the wrap-up show for this season of DCTV, so we're going to talk about where the shows have gone, what's happened, what we have to worry about over the summer, and probably nothing about what to expect next year because I don't know. We're going to talk about some stuff going on in DCUO, DC Universe Online, the MMO that we're playing right now, which is a huge happening in DC Comics. Convergence getting ready to be underway. Actually is underway already. We're one behind. And we're going to talk about what to expect in Convergence and how you can kind of soothe those DCTV woes over the summer, because it does suck not having any DCTV to watch. Not a lot of new television at any rate, and so it becomes very boring. And what can we do? We typically just play DC Universe Online. Actually, it frees up more time for us. We're kind of like, we don't have distractions because television really cuts into our gaming time. Bodie agreed with that. I'm Rock Var, your host. I'm here on the couch with Hippolyta Kent, our son-to-be Bodie, and our two dogs, Connor and Kara. They are always part of the cast. You can't see them, but they have their own desks. Connor and Kara, once we have live video feed up, you'll be able to see what goes on in the studio during the show. And I can tell you right now, it's quite extensive. There is a lot going on in Var Nation Studios while the show's happening, and you'll be able to see we have a 4-camera angle view that we'll be showcasing. No, we don't. I'd like all that to be happening, but it's not. For right now, it's just us doing what we like to do, talking about what we like to talk about. We haven't done the talk portion of the show in quite some time because we've been busy. And when we do find spare time, we end up streaming and just doing stuff for fun. And, you know, I got behind a little bit on DCTV, and it wasn't my job. So if it was my job, I would have been able to pay more attention and do more with it. But as it stands, I was busy and I didn't have time. So I waited till the season was over so I could just talk about it generally. And I won't do a whole lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the finales of some of these shows, I'm not going to ruin anything. Well, I might ruin some stuff for you because I'm a ruiner, but I'm not going to intentionally ruin anything for you. You'll still be able to watch and enjoy it because, quite frankly, I can't remember a whole lot about it. We're going to check out the DCTV secrets that we missed for the last episode of each show, too, except for Supergirl. There was nothing on there about Supergirl. So we'll start out, we typically start out the show talking about DC Universe Online, and there has been a lot going on in DC Universe Online recently. We've gotten, DCUO went to Xbox One, so that happened. We have had new content 2 times, I think. We're on episode 24 right now, and I'm going to read a little bit about what's happening thus far in the game from the website, and that way you can kind of keep up with what's happening currently in DCUO. We had new content go live for all members, for all players, the 19th of this month, so last week, and pretty good content as usual. Can't knock the devs for anything that they're doing. I'm wearing my Batman v Superman logo shirt right now. My kid's extra small because it's so form-fitting. It's stretched across every ripple and every muscle on my chest. So that's for Lida's viewing pleasure. She's making a face like, what? Well, maybe it's for my viewing pleasure. I like to look at my nice ripped abs. I don't even work out. It just happens for me. But we did have new content in the game. We've had, of course, I said already, we had the Xbox One release pretty much how I expected it to go. There's a lot of kinks to work out, especially when you're going for a launch on a whole new platform. I've seen a lot of complaining going on, and I figured that was going to happen too. The issue's not with the devs, the issue's not with the game, it's just, To take a game that's already playing on three consoles, or two, I don't know if I wouldn't call a PC a console, but three formats, PC, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4, and then make that same game work on a completely different system. I would assume there would be some kinks along the way. And there's been some, but they're all over it. It's kind of funny to be on the other side of that now. I'm playing on PS4 and I'm not having very many issues, but I see the Twitter for DCUO blowing up all day long talking about fixes for the Xbox, and then they get the string of hateful comments that inevitably comes after they announce that they're fixing something, and I'm just kind of happy to not have to be involved in that. We've been pretty steady on the PlayStation side. On the home team. That's not what I mean. But it is. The game's been running very well. We have had only very limited downtime in the past couple of months, and very limited glitching and hiccups. PS3 continues to be horrid, but then it's going to be. And our internet speed here is really bad, so anytime there's something happening in the game that affects everyone, it affects us hard. Or it hardly affects us. But we have had, of course, new content, and some of the new content brought new voice actors. It brought new Let's Plays. They've had a couple of live streams recently. In fact, they just popped one on us, I think, maybe Friday, talking about the color schemes now, that you can change the colors of the new what is it called? It's the new cosmic material that you get from the booster bundles. Those booster bundles. There's a booster bundle live right now on the marketplace that has gives you the ability to change the color or change the thread of your favorite outfit to cosmic. But it was only in one color, so they came out and they're going to do a fix, and the colors will be changeable. Still only the 3 color palettes. We haven't gotten any updates as far as color palettes are concerned. That I really couldn't tell you. Well, I haven't seen any news as far as when they're going to be doing that. So stay tuned to DCUO. They've had an update, a huge update to their website. Their website looks awesome now. There's a place on there where they announce, they kind of, whenever they like or retweet something on Twitter, they put it up there on the website. Now it's just a tweet feed or something, I don't know. And a really good look to the new website. If you haven't been there, DCUniverseOnline.com. I'm going to go right now. I've got like 150 tabs open on my browser, though, because I have a bunch of stuff lined up here to talk about. I wish it was just DCUO.com. DC Universe Online is really a lot to fill out. Oh, wow. At least DC Universe Online continues to use my Superman with the trunks. You can fill out a thing on here as soon as it gets... oh, wow, look at this. As soon as you go to the new homepage, you're prompted to download for either PC, PS3, PS4, or Xbox One. And then play for free, of course. That's the reason to go. But I'm going to click on Continue to Website. If you haven't done that yet, go. It's up at the very upper right. You would barely see it. There's people like, what the heck? How do we even get in here? Wow, the website looks awesome. So, as I said, they've retooled the website. Got some awesome pictures up there now. DC Universe Online is getting some press. I mean, they're doing very well. Especially the stuff that's going kind of in conjunction with DC Comics, which is super fun. It's a lot easier to find videos and stuff and how-to guides. They've got a thing on here for Twitch, YouTube. Wow, there's actually a YouTube section. Let's go look at that. Oh, wow. much easier to find their YouTube stuff now. They even had a video that they did with Brandon Routh playing the game on DCU or on Xbox One when it launched. It was like a 5-minute video, and we talked about it in our stream and stuff, but not on DCU Tonight. So I would go to the DC Universe Online Twitter page and watch that. If you haven't seen it, it's our Superman and Adam playing DC Universe Online, playing the game that we love. How awesome is that? Hey, look at this. Look who's in their feed. DCUO episode 24 gear revealed by Var Nation. Yeah, it's on the DC Universe Online website now. That's what I'm telling people now, is if they like, or like I sent that to Player Direct. So if they put stuff on Player Direct, or if they like a tweet, or if they retweet something, you may find it on their website now. And that's only, it goes straight from DC Universe Online. Look, there's Mermaid's Enchanted Forest. That was a pretty cool one. Harley's Heist Duo is on here by Interplay Games. There are a lot of gaming a lot of gaming channels that I don't know about that are doing some good videos, and they've I think a lot of people were right. There have been a lot of these guys doing stuff on Xbox too, and so now we're getting the YouTubers on Xbox, which is fun. Into the Woods base tour with Brittany, and then there's ours. New gear revealed. Man, I need to put more on there. Ooh, here's a weapons. Ooh, there's a Trexlite did a weapons overview for hand blasters. We should watch that. Lyda likes hand blasters. And there's one from Shadow Dragon, DC Universe Online, Day 1, Xbox exclusives. Oh, those bastards. There were Xbox exclusives. There's probably been a ton of PlayStation exclusives that we didn't know just because we got them. But yeah, so that is the newly introduced DC Universe Online website. I got to say, I saw them talk about it, but I didn't go to it myself. It is a lot more interactive. It's a lot cooler than the last website. I mean, the look, you can say take it or leave it. I kind of prefer the old look of some of than the more Facebooky looking new websites, but this is still cool. I wonder who hosts it. Let's find out. Oh, I don't know. It's something by day. Okay. Way more, probably really something that costs a lot of money. So, but anyway, we had the new content hit for DC Universe Online, and I'm going to read you now from Dexella, our communications manager. Wow. She posted on the forums here the story so far for episode 24, and I thought that SJ was supposed to do that. Maybe she was out that day or something. Episode 24 brings with it a stunning epic finale to the New God storyline in Darkseid's War Factory, and will also be introducing a new hijinks-filled storyline in Harley's Heist. Now, most of us have been playing this content for a little while now, and we know that Harley's Heist is a biatch. It's hard. It says, before they delve into what awaits players in the new episode, let's take a look back on the events that got us here and spend some time getting to know the iconics you'll be encountering in the story so far. And that's what I really like about this, is they've started giving some backstory about the villains. The new 8-player raid, which is live now, will bring players face-to-face with Darkseid for the first time. How did we get here? Actually, she said how'd. I'm kind of sure that doesn't work, but how did we get here? The journey to meet and hopefully defeat Darkseid began in episode 11, Halls of Power, Part 1. Man, it's been a long time. In that episode, we first learned that Darkseid was sending his agents below the surface of New Genesis and Apocalypse, gathering relics in an attempt to harness the power of the old gods by recovering ancient Third World artifacts. By episode 14, Halls of Power Part 2, they had uncovered even more artifacts. At the same time, a skirmish broke out on the surface of New Genesis, and Darkseid's forces attempted to attack Celestial City. And at her Happiness Home Orphanage, aka a deadly training facility, Granny Goodness was testing the mettle of Earth's heroes and villains in an attempt to recruit and prepare the denizens of Apocalypse to serve Darkseid. I've never heard that word before. I'm striking it from society right now. For a while, it seemed that Earth was safe from Darkseid's meddling until episode 23, The Will of Darkseid. The war between the new gods once again heated up in New Genesis, and players reported to the battle site in order to help defend the area from Darkseid's invasion force. Though the players triumphed over Steppenwolf, he left with an eerie message: the Source will speak to Darkseid. So that's what got us here. Dun dun dun. In episode 24, Darkseid's War Factory, players of DCUO will finally have the opportunity to meet this massive supervillain face to face. So I should just say that you do have the opportunity to meet this massive supervillain face to face, assuming you can get that far in the raid. We have not yet attempted the raid at all. Maybe tonight would be a good time to try. Probably not. It would just anger us. I don't know. But eventually you will finally get to be face to face with Darkseid, which is super cool. We've now gotten to be face to face with Darkseid, or we will, and Trigon. That's awesome. Next thing you know, we'll be fighting Zeus. Why would you ever fight Zeus, though? He's a good guy. I don't know. Okay, but it says, who is Darkseid anyway? Darkseid is a menacing supervillain, one of the most powerful there is. He was first introduced in the DC Comics universe in 1970. Darkseid's goal is to eliminate all free will. He is a Superman. He's a major adversary of Superman in the Justice League, though Lex Luthor isn't entirely fond of him either. And now in DCUO, he has amassed enough old world artifacts to reshape them into a machine that would allow him to access the Source. It will be up to you to head to Apocalypse and confront him, as well as any of his vicious allies, before he's able to unleash that divine power onto Earth. Do you honestly think you can beat Darkseid? Not really. I don't. I think that I could do something to Darkseid. I don't think that it would be defeating. In episode 24, Darkseid's War Factory it's a new 8-player raid. Of course, we know that it's already live. In order to access the content, you have to be a minimum combat rating of 154. Although I do not suggest walking into any raid where you're the minimum combat rating, unless you have like ridiculous amounts of skill points. And then it wouldn't even matter right now. It will matter later, so come back when when they fix that. The recommended combat rating is 162 plus, and there's also an elite version of the raid, which we know from our other video that we did, that drops super cool gear themed after Firestorm. And it's the one with the actual flaming stuff, right, Lida? The Firestorm raid gear? Okay, cool. So that is the raid that's happening right now. And you're free to try at your own risk. Wow, look at those sound effects. Let's fix that. Like, that's better. Try at your own risk. That's what I would say. My wonderful wife bought me this present. I haven't showed off yet. I finally have a phone booth. I've been wanting a phone booth for a long time. And wait till you see the next studio that I build to see. I've showed pictures of it on Twitter, but wait till you see what she has done. You will be amazed. I moved over to this section to talk about the duo, the Harley's Heist duo. If you have tried this duo, you know it's no nonsense. The girls aren't messing around, namely Catwoman. She is a punk. Harley's Heist, even if the world isn't about to end and you're not fighting for the survival of all citizens our civilization as we know it, there are still classic comic capers happening all around the DC universe. That's why you'll be encountering in the second piece of episode 24 the new two-player duo Harley's Heist. This is a brand new storyline, so there's not much of a story so far to catch you up on, but we can give you some background so you know what you're in for. Harley Quinn and her fellow gals of Gotham City, Catwoman and Poison Ivy, are planning their integral heist at the Regal Hotel. Inaugural. Why would it be integral? I guess it would be integral too, but mostly it's inaugural. Will they succeed, or will the heroines of DC or Gotham City, Zatanna, Black Canary, and Huntress foil their plans before they get too far? So what are they, the birds of prey? Who is Harley Quinn? It asks. Harley, Harley, Harley. She first swung her hammer into our hearts on Batman the Animated Series before appearing in various Batman comic books from DC Comics and eventually getting to her own series in 2013. She's often an accomplice and companion to the Joker, but these days she's spending most of her time hatching schemes with Poison Ivy, especially in this game. In episode 24, Harley's Heist is a new two-player duo. In order to access the content, you must have a minimum combat rating of 154. I am a combat rating 164. Lyda is a combat rating 166. And we have issues going in. I'm a DPS, she's a troll. So, you know, I don't know about the whole 154 thing. The recommended combat rating is 162 plus. So there you go, and members already have access, and actually everyone has access. It can be purchased in the in-game marketplace now. So there you go. That's what's been going on DC Universe Online. That is the DC Universe Online section of our show. I definitely urge you, if you've not played that game, to go check it out. DCUniverseOnline.com, available on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. And you can get a cool little couch or chair with a tongue that hangs out on the floor. That's really the main reason that you should do it. So now we're moving on to DCTV, and a lot has happened. There's been so much happened since the last time we did the show. We can't at all go into all of it because we'd be just rehashing the episode. This is my new studio, Lyda Inspired. This is the Lyda Inspired studio. I got a captain's chair over here. She's got a queen's chair over here. I don't know which side should be which yet, but we'll figure it out. Got our bottled cities all around. So anyway, DCTV. Well, I guess I should. Well, do we talk about Rebirth first, or do we go? I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll do a little bit of both. Actually, we'll quickly talk about Rebirth, and then we'll go to DCTV at the end, because then that way, anyone who doesn't want spoilers on that can leave the show before we get to it. So, okay. We have the question now of what do we do with our summer? DCTV is over. The finales have run. Game of Thrones is not DC related, so I cannot talk about it on my show. I would have to create another show. What would we call that? Game of Thrones Tonight. Peter Dinklage. And that's all we do is just sing about it. What do we do with our summer? Well, DC Universe, once again, is having a huge redo in their universe, and they're changing continuities, they're meshing continuities, they're flipping around things, and they're redoing yet again a brand new face for DC Comics. Started with Convergence and now is becoming Rebirth. So starting, I think, the week of the 6th, we get a Rebirth basically for every title. And we're going to go through what those titles are and what we can expect to see inside those titles. We have a huge spoiler that just came out Well, it's been out since the 25th. We found out about it today. Almost knocked me out of my chair. I had to take a nap after because it really devastated me with happiness. I was devastated. I'm overjoyed right now. There's actually two parts of this that have me kind of feeling giddy like a schoolboy inside. And I haven't felt this way about comics since actually the last time I felt this way about comics would have been Final Crisis, when they brought back Connor from the death. Yeah, I think that's it. And before that, I don't know what it would have been. Year one, maybe, I was super excited about. 52 weeks or whatever that was. But anyway, my point is that some big, huge news that, well, you ask, let's find out. Actually, we've got to start back by going to DC Comics. Now that I have 700 pages open on here. Experience Rebirth. You'll find, go to DCComics.com. I actually tried to buy this earlier. That's one thing that kind of made me mad earlier. I came through and tried to buy it, and our X-Comics password I couldn't remember, which led me on the inevitable password search. But the 25th of May, a title called DC Universe Rebirth launched. And I'm going to click on it to learn some more. But what came in that story brought back to us, and this actually almost made me buy it. But it says here. It's actually a pretty good message that they put up here. It all begins here. Do not skip the last page. Do not let a friend, or do not skip to the last page. Do not let a friend or message board ruin this comic for you. The future and past of the DC Universe starts here. Don't say we didn't warn you. And Jeff Johns is quoted as saying, Rebirth is about focusing in on the core of the character and their respective universe. It brings back what has been lost, the legacy of the characters, the love and hope of the DCU. And we stopped when we were reading this because I'm pretty sure wasn't the New 52 kind of Jeff Johns' idea? I mean, among other people, but he was one of the main sculptors of the New 52. And so for him to say that this kind of brings back what has been lost, we're like, well, you lost it. You took it out. You are the one who has changed it, sir. And now you are changing it back, and we will love you for it. It's not really changing back, though. But in Rebirth, apparently, and I'll leave you to figure out how, but Wally West is back. Wally West has found his way back. He was trapped in the Speed Force, similar to Barry, I think, how Barry had disappeared for a long time. And so Wally is now coming back into continuity, red-haired, freckle-faced Wally West, and he's going to be meeting back up with the Titans, and you'll see that at Titans Rebirth, which will be coming out, I think, the 6th. But he apparently has memories of everything that's happened, and I think that his kids will be along with him. I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure Linda, isn't it? Yeah. So that'll be exciting, and that's why I almost bought it. I wanted to download the digital version, and I didn't get to. So I'll have read that by the next time we talk, probably, because I love Wally West, and I'll be super happy to see the version that I like coming back. So, and speaking of versions, another thing that happened to me today that upset me was we went on an outing. We went to Toys R Us, and I saw a Superman pack. There were a lot of Superman Batman toys, and they even had like Barbie-sized Wonder Woman. They had a 3-pack that had Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They all kind of looked goofy, like they were trying to make them look too much like their movie counterparts. But it was nice to see that the toys were out. But they had a Superman pack, and it was Superman, the different versions of Superman, and it was Justice League Unlimited was one of the versions. Batman v Superman was one of the versions. Just flat out DC Comics, like a New 52 looking toy, was one of them. And the other one I can't really remember what it was, but it was, not so dissimilar from any of the others. But the point was that they had different versions of Superman from the different stories. Well, none of the Supermen, including the Justice League Unlimited version, which actually did have the trunks at the time, had the trunks on the toys. So what are they trying to tell us? Are they getting rid of the trunks for every version of Superman? Is that the goal? Because I think that's stupid. I don't like it. I would say any man that doesn't wear trunks on the outside of his pants isn't super. He's just a man. If you don't have the trunks, you don't have the super. And that's how I see it. So, but that just really would piss me off if I was like Bruce Timm or something. I can see myself walking through a store and seeing that and being like, he had the trunks on, damn it. That's not my Superman. How dare they put the logo of Justice League Unlimited on it? I have the Justice League Unlimited Superman action figure, thank you very much, and he does have the trunks on. Can't find him right now, but I've also got the 13-inch one or the 10-inch one, whichever that is. And he's two different versions of that. We even have the Justice Lord's version of that, and it's super sweet. I think we still have it. So, that's when they say they're bringing back what has been lost. The trunks have been lost from Superman. Are they bringing those back? Because so far the only thing I've seen of the new Superman that they're bringing out, which isn't actually the Superman from the New 52, it's our Superman, the one who married Lois and they have a child together. We don't see him from the waist down, so we don't know yet if that's there. So we'll find out. But let's move on and see, actually, right now, because it tells us just a little bit. So Superman Rebirth #1 will be on sale for $2.99. Actually, it'll be on sale the 1st. So we only have to wait one day to get it. The world needs a man of steel. But can Superman protect the world while raising a super son with his wife, Lois Lane? It begins now. It's Clark's turn to be Pa Kent and teach his son what it means to be super. But who is hunting Superman's son and why? I would imagine pretty much any of his villains would probably be hunting him. This will be art by Jamie Mendoza and Doug Mankey, cover by Doug Mankey, variant cover by Andy Park, and written by Peter J. Tomasi. I've never read anything from any of those people, so we'll find out how awesome it is. It looks pretty awesome. But at least from what we can tell of the cover, he does not have the New 52 goofy looking armor on. He has very cool looking Superman hair. I would say that's it's kind of like Lois and Clark-esque. It's kind of like Dean Cain-esque looking. But we cannot tell if he has trunks or not. So I guess we'll have to pick it up and read it. So that's Superman Rebirth #1. The next title, and it doesn't have very much of a kind of teaser to it, but it's Batman Rebirth #1, also $2.99. I think we're going to see that they will all be $2.99. On sale June 1st. Longtime Batman and Eisner Award-winning writer Scott Snyder co-writes co-writes with Rising Star writer Tom King. Wow. I don't understand what. Evil 365. Gotham City faces the threat of the Calendar Man. And we know it's art by... Oh, so this one, there's a lot of these. Art by Mikkel Janin, cover by Mikkel Janin, variant cover by Howard Porter, written by Scott Snyder and Tom King. Oh, it's Batman... No. I don't know why they called it that. The series is Batman 2016, I guess. The Green Lantern one is going to be real interesting because I don't know anything about her, and we're going to have to go and research her to find out who she is. So Green Lantern's Rebirth #1, again on sale June 1st, $2.99. Creative powerhouse Jeff Johns. It kind of sounds like I'm saying that. He is a creative powerhouse, though. But can you imagine if that was your title? You're like, I am. So what do you what do you do? I'm a creative powerhouse. Just bring me in. I'll create something, and it will be awesome. And you will call me a powerhouse. Creative powerhouse Jeff Johns puts the ring on again as he, co-writer Sam Humphries, and artist Ethan Van Sciver debut a new era of Emerald greatness. Rookie Green Lantern Jessica Cruz and Simon Boz tackle the universe's toughest beat, Earth. So I'm going to be curious what happened to Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, and Kyle Rayner, and who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Beware my power. John Stewart. Alright. So, and that is art by Ed Benez, Ethan Van Sciver, cover by Ethan Van Sciver, variant by Alex Garner, written by Jeff Johns and Sam Humphries. So, as you can see, we've got a lot to keep up with here. Now this, okay, here we go. So this is what I was looking for earlier and I couldn't find. The return of a long-lost Flash to the DC Universe. It's finally here. The oversized, incredible, universe-changing 80-page DC Universe Rebirth #1 from the genius mind of Jeff Johns is out this Wednesday, May 25th. Damn. So he's a genius, too. He is a genius, creative powerhouse. That's pretty awesome. And on the cover, it's Wally West, my Wally West, and, well, I mean, not really my Wally West, but Wally West. He's wearing what looks like his old Kid Flash uniform, and it says, "My name is Wally West. I'm the fastest man alive." And he's in the Batcave for whatever reason, saying, "Bruce, I need your help." And at the bottom it says, "But no one remembers that once upon a time, I was the Flash, too." The return of the beloved fastest man alive, the fiery-haired Flash, the Scarlet Speedster, the missing Titan, Wally West. Lost in the Speed Force until this moment, Wally will rejoin teammates Donna Troy, Arsenal, Garth, Lilith, and Nightwing for Titans Rebirth #1, which will hit shelves June 15th. So we've got to wait a couple of weeks until we see how that comes to play. In order to keep the mystery alive, DC solicited a cover featuring Donna Troy, leaving fans to wonder if the Lost Titan would ever make a return. But now that Wally West has appeared in the pages of DC Universe's Rebirth #1, we can safely say that the secret is out. You can check out how he makes it home by picking up DC Universe Rebirth #1, but you'll have to wait until Titans Rebirth #1 to find out how the Titans react to his incredible reappearance. I'm just happy to have the dude back. So, thank you DC Universe Online for bringing me Wally West back. For bringing back the Superman that is married to Lois Lane. Oh, well, I'm thinking DC Universe Online. It's that they did it. I think it was. It's because they have kept the. And actually, I think that's true. It's because DC Universe Online has kept the pre-New 52 continuity alive. And it's been so popular that I think DC Comics really took a long look at what they've done, and they said, man, DC Universe Online knows what's up. We need to start getting ideas from them and following them. And when they started to do that, things really took hold. So congratulations to DC Universe Online for saving DC Comics. Now if you can just do something about the movie franchise, we'll be in there. And I still think that in order to do that, they should just get rid of everything that they have done to this point, as far as crew and all that. Yeah, keep Affleck and Cavill and all that good stuff, but put Bruce Timm in charge of it, Andrea Romano, put her in charge of casting, and be done with this bull honk. That's where my head's at. Don't tell me they can't direct live action. The cartoons that they've done have been better than anything that's been live action so far. The I mean, if you don't want to have them in charge of the visual part of it, at least do the story, because the dialogue in the Bruce Timm verse stuff is better than anything that's been done in a movie so far. So you guys have a real untapped resource there. Not that he's been untapped, because he's had a wonderful career, but help us, Bruce Timm. You are our only hope. And now we move on to the DCTV section of the show. So thanks for hanging with us. If you've joined us kind of halfway through this is normally about an hour-long show. I think we're pushing it for an hour and a half here, really, maybe longer. Called DCU Tonight, and this is where we, myself, Rock Var, and Hippolyta Kemp, my wife, get together normally. She's not doing this right now because she's on, what's that called? Maternity leave? She's on maternity leave, and so this is me talking about, we normally talk about the happenings of DC Universe Online, DCTV each week, but now it's over, so we're doing the finale wrap-up show, and we normally check in on DC Comics to see what they're doing over at DCComics.com. And I would also direct you to DC Comics News. If you would follow them on Twitter, that would be phenomenal. It's at DC Comics News. They do a lot of DC Comics News. It's a great website. It's a great channel to follow. So I suggest that you do it. And of course, follow Var Nation, because we like to keep you informed, and we do all kinds of stuff outside of DCU Tonight. So now we're going to jump over to the DCTV section of the show, and there's been, well, a lot of big things happening. We definitely had a scare towards the end of Supergirl, when we didn't even know the day of the finale or weeks after the finale if there was going to be a season 2. We now know that there is going to be a season 2. We know that Supergirl will be debuting on the CW with the rest of the DC TV shows that we know and love, aside from Gotham, and I expect Gotham may end up there someday. I don't know. But so for whatever reason, CBS decided they didn't have a place for Supergirl anymore. The CW picked him up, and which is cool, because most of the stunts and stuff, and most of the show coordination was being done by an executive producer who oversees both shows, or on both channels. So it's cool. But the only thing, I don't know if we still know this yet, is if Cat Grant will be returning in the same form, because is her name Melissa Flockhart? Calissa, or Callista? Oh, well, anyway, she's not sure if she's coming back yet, so she hasn't signed on with her contract. So I would say to Harrison Ford, you need to get your wife in order, man, because I'm sure it's, I don't know if it's a money thing or if it's a time thing or what it is, but work that shit out, because she's doing really well on Supergirl. This show is going very well with the cast that we have. We definitely don't need to screw it up anymore. So it's been a while since the Supergirl finale, really. We know that she's out with her feelings for Jimmy, so that's cool, I guess. And we'll see how that goes. I mean, I don't know, but we know that we have the show back, and we don't really know where they're going with it. But when they did talk about having the crossover show with Supergirl and the Flash, now I'm starting to hope that they somehow find a way to let their worlds collide. Flash continues to break boundaries as far as what's happened in DC TV, and really has been the catalyst for changing, or not really changing, but bringing us into the multiverse and showing us what has existed outside of the spectrum of each little show. And I think that's what's been cool about having all of these shows going on at the same time, is now we don't really think about them as television shows on channels. We've started thinking about them as, we're kind of peeking into the multiverse, and we're looking at Earth 1 and Earth 2 and Earth 23, or we still have no idea what her Earth would be considered at this time. But we do know some very exciting things about what's happened with the overall DC TV universe from the Flash. The Flash, and so we're at the end of the season, so I guess we can pick our favorite show now, because we can say which one. I'm not gonna vote yet. I think we should do something for voting, though. Maybe we'll have people leave a vote in the comments. That's what we'll do. Vote for your favorite DCTV show in the comments of this video once it's up on YouTube, and we'll announce it sometime, or do something with it, put it on the website. We'll have the website back up and running fairly soon, I think. But my favorite was Flash. I really enjoyed Flash. I love what they did at the end of it. They lost me a little bit with the whole thing with Jay and Zoom being the same person. They won me over again in the finale. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But as far as consistently good screenplay, I'm going to say, or like writing, development, Flash definitely wins for me. I like the other shows too. Now, if I'm talking about, hope or superhero-ness, I'm going with Supergirl. DC's Legends of Tomorrow was neat, and it still continues to be neat. And what they're doing over there, I think, is going to blow people's minds next season. But I wouldn't say it's my favorite. Gotham is pretty much Batman right now. Gotham kind of went ahead and just, Bruce is even kind of skulking around, seeming very Batman-like. And that's about that. I mean, I don't know, but as far as just nailing the story and the comic book feel, and Flash is just amazing, and it seems to have come full circle and gone back there again. So we found out that, and this is where the spoilers start. I mean, I've already started them, but this is where they really start. So we had a horrible situation where Zoom ended up killing Barry's dad. And the cool thing has happened already, and this is what I waited for on Smallville for a long, long time. I love the show so much more when everybody seems to know the secret, or when it's as people find out who are close to the hero. So Wally now knows Barry's the Flash, which is awesome to me, and he's helping out. He's kind of becoming part of Team Flash, and I continue to love their version of Wally West. But we had Zoom killing Barry's dad, which was horribly heart-wrenching for Barry. Now he's lost both parents. That caused the whole scenario of all of this that's going down, caused Barry to freak out and go back in time once again, and this time save his mom. And I think that's kind of how we were left. So the implications of that, we don't know at this point. Did that just spark something that's just going to destroy everything that he's been working to save? Probably. It's probably going to be very similar to the kind of things that happened in Flashpoint, and now we're going to end up having a crisis on DCTV, but we all kind of knew that was coming. But most importantly to me, I don't know if it's the most important thing that came out of that show this season or not, but to me it is. We finally found out who was in the Iron Mask. And because of what had happened earlier in the season, where we found out that the entire time that we'd known Jay Garrick of Earth 2, he actually was Zoom, pretty much we know that he was a bad guy. Well, they totally redeemed the character by bringing him back, and it ends up that Jay Garrick is the guy in the Iron Mask. He was taken from Earth 2. He was a hero. Zoom assumed his identity. Earth 3, I'm sorry. Zoom assumed his identity and had kept him locked up this entire time. It turns out to be John Wesley's ship. The tie-in there is that his mom's maiden name was Garrick, and so this ends up being the real Jay Garrick, who's also the doppelganger of Barry's dad. So it makes it kind of hard, obviously, for Barry to interact with him. But it's so cool because John Wesley Shipp has now gotten to be Barry Allen, and he's gotten to be Jay Garrick. He looked awesome in the suit. The suit was an upgraded version of what we saw the other Jay wearing, and it was much, much cooler. And he even wears the hat. We're going to talk about that right now in the DCTV secrets for this week's, not this week's, but for the Flash finale. And I don't think that this DCTV secrets came out right with the finale. I think it might have been the episode before, but because they talk about Jay, so we'll see. But there's some good information in here, and it talks about some history of the Flash, and we get some dates and stuff for some first appearances. So we'll go into that right now. We find these on DCComics.com, and I just go and search for DC TV secrets, but they're normally on the homepage like the week of, and these get put out on Twitter each week after the show. There probably won't be many, if any, of them over the summer, so we'll see. So after taking away the person Barry loves the most, Zoom challenges the Flash to a race. But is it really about who's the fastest person on any Earth? It feels too simple because it is. Zoom has grander, multiverse-destroying plans. We'll say this for the guy. He certainly dreams big. Everyone on Team Flash throws themselves into stopping Zoom from wrecking it all, and they uncover many mysteries along the way. And here are some of the hashtag DCTV secrets from this episode. Title of this one is The Race is On. Zoom wants to race Barry, but it's not about competition. Nope, Zoom wants to trigger Mercury Labs' Magnetar and destroy not just Earth 2, but every Earth in the multiverse. He knows how to be maniacal, and we'll give him that. And this comes from a story, but actually was not Barry. In the comics, Wally West's Flash raced against Zoom in the Blitz storyline in the Flash number 198 through number 200. The stakes weren't quite as far-reaching, but Linda Park's life and the lives of their unborn twins hung in the balance, so they were huge to Wally. How could they have said that? The stakes weren't quite as big. They were his kids. To be close to an even match, Impulse and Jay had to give Wally their speed. Dun dun dun. It Never Ends is the title of the next one. How grandiose are Zoom's plans? He says there are an infinite number of planets in the multiverse. That's not a tiny number. In Grant Morrison's multiverse-defining comic, The Multiversity, the DC multiverse has 52 worlds. However, that limited number hasn't always been in place. The multiverse has been infinite at various points in the DC Comics history, which is the point of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Whatever remains must be the truth is the title of the next secret. Remember how Henry Allen mentioned his mother's maiden name was Garrick? That was a clue about the identity of the man in the Iron Mask in Zoom's Earth 2 prison. Zoom captured the Jay Garrick from Earth 3 and assumed his identity, and he happened to be Henry Allen's doppelganger. In the comics, the speedster on Earth 3 was Johnny Quick. He was a villain and member of this crime syndicate, and Jay Garrick, he was from Earth 2, and his helmet didn't come from Hunter Zolomon. It belonged to his father, who was a soldier in World War I. So what does all this mean for the Jay we met in this episode of The Flash? We'll have to wait and see. And this one is titled, We See What You Did There. So once Zoom takes the mask off, the real Jay, and they said, would the real Jay Garrick please stand up? He drops the line, Flash from Two Worlds. It's a nod to the iconic story Flash of Two Worlds from the Flash number 123. We've talked about the comics and other installments of DC TV Secrets, but the title issue, and they misspelled a word here, I don't even know what that is. It's like TL:DR. This title introduced the concept of the multiverse to DC is basically what they were saying. So And that was a weird way to do it, because Jay Garrick existed inside the same universe as Barry Allen up until that point. And then they threw the whole multiverse thing, and it was like, Earth 2, what are you talking about? They're the Justice Society. They came before. This doesn't make any damn sense, people. But apparently that's what they're trying to fix, is all of those kind of confusing things that really didn't make sense to begin with. Arrow this season, we found out a number of things in Arrow, a number of sad things. Definitely that Laurel Lance was the person in the grave, so she's dead and gone, it seems. There were a couple of storylines, not only in Arrow but also in DC's Legends of Tomorrow, about trying to bring her back, and both of them kind of went to the wayside once everyone figured out that it would have been a horrible thing to do, because apparently, unlike other people that they've brought back in the DC universe and continue to bring back in the DC universe, something real bad would happen if Laurel Lance came back. So she'd be pissy, and we can't have that. But one of the scenarios that they talked about in Legends of Tomorrow was that if that Rip led us to believe that he had tried to go back and save her, and what happened was that Dark ended up killing Laurel, Sarah, and their father, and so we can't have that. But we're going to go into the DCTV Secrets of Arrow, and this is the one that wasn't from for some reason they didn't have the one from the finale up there, but they have it from episode 23, Schism. Or no, that's what it was. Yeah, it's all hands on deck when Damien Dark plays his final cards. Feuds are thrown aside for the greater good, and Star City turns into a war zone again. As Team Arrow fights to save the world from Dark's plans, and Oliver's fate in the past takes a turn, these secrets are revealed. Who is Kovar? And meet your mayor. Or meet Mayor Queen. So there's only 2 secrets. No time for that flight. Is her name Tiana? At Tiana's request, Oliver stops her and the power of the idol. This means she's not able to use her new abilities against Kovar. If you recall, she mentioned wanting to stand up to the Russian dictator in the last episode. Leonard Kovar is also known as Red Star in the comic books. He's made his debut in Teen Titans number 18. Red Star received his superpowers of energy projection and enhanced strength and speed from an exploding alien spaceship. He was a member of the Teen Titans in these earlier comics. However, in the Flashpoint timeline, Red Star was a member of Hive's council. Will he deliver light? The title of the next DC TV secret. After giving another rousing, optimistic speech to the citizens of Star City, Oliver is granted the mayoral title until they can hold another election. In the comics, Green Arrow has had a couple of brushes with being the mayor of Star City. He campaigned for the position in World's Finest number 255, but lost to his opponent Ralph Halstead. Then, over 2 decades later, Oliver Queen successfully became mayor in Green Arrow number 60. I want to throw some confetti or something, but they can't hear that. So those are the hashtag DCTV secrets for Arrow, and the last one that I'm going to do is for Gotham, because I didn't find one for Legends of Tomorrow either, and it wasn't really very secretive what happened at the end of that. I guess it was, though, because Our Man came out. But they'll have to find that out later. So we'll talk about, so in Legends of Tomorrow, the only real thing that I would have pulled out of there that would have been kind of maybe somebody wouldn't know, but he announced who he was. They finally managed to deal with Vandal Savage. And pops in out of nowhere Our Man, Rex, right? And he introduces himself and says that he's from the Justice Society of America. and that's where we get left. And that he's there to save every one of them. So basically, their jumping around in time has caused some issues in the multiverse, and the JSA feels like they've got to jump in now and kind of rescue them. So we will see Justice Society of America on DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and actually I was reading some stuff online about it, and DC Comics is really behind it. They've been quoted saying that they've got the Justice League blowing up in the movies, and they have all of this rich history with the Justice Society and all of these stories that can be told, and they're not going to get told because they don't really want to have them competing against each other in the movies. So they're going to end up telling the story of the Justice Society more on TV in the DCTV verse. So that should be awesome, because there are a lot of good stories there, and now they've made the Justice Society kind of an Earth 2 thing, but I'm hoping that they kind of change that and we go back to the Justice Society having been the original team. I don't know. I doubt that happens just because they're kind of hung up on the Justice League now, but I feel like we need some more kind of old school heroes. They've turned the Justice League into the Teen Titans as far as I'm concerned. They've taken the team that at this point in the comics, they're the seasoned vets, and they're trying to show us their beginning. So now we're seeing them as young, fresh upstarts. And if that's going to be happening, we really have to see the Justice Society, because they were already doing it at the time. They were kind of mentors to those people, kids, if you want to say it that way. So I hope that we get into some very detailed stories with the Justice Society, and I hope we see a lot more to come. The DC TV Secrets of Gotham, this is episode 21, A Legion of Horribles. The Man of Many Faces is the first one, and this, I wasn't real thrilled with what I saw, and I'll say this, Gotham's going a different way with how a lot of these characters were created, and you'll see that. We're going to talk about the Bruce Timm story origins of Clayface, and we're going to talk about the comic book origins of Clayface, and those two stories already existed. Now we're bringing about this one where it's kind of like Doctor Strange is bringing people back from the dead and giving them identities, and they're learning that they have superpowers, and this is how it appears a lot of the Gotham villains are being created. And I don't know, that's weird. I mean, I don't know. It's cool. It really is. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that as opposed to Clayface having been an actor who had gone through this traumatic, experience or whatever, now he's a dude who just got brought back to life. And we don't really know much else about him. Maybe we'll find out. But in this episode, it showed us that all of Professor Strange's hard work and experiments might be a key part of a much larger plan for a mysterious benefactor. One who looks like they could be dug in pretty deep, all the while giving Bruce, Jim, and company a first-hand look at the true evil that lurks in the heart of Arkham. What made this episode already jam-packed with excitement? What? Doesn't make any sense. What made tonight's already jam-packed with excitement episode even better was the introduction of Carlo, better known as Clayface. Although the Clayface moniker has been adopted by numerous people in the comics over the years, Basil Carlo was the first and most famous, making his debut in 1940's Detective Comics number 40. An actor by trade, Carlo went off the rails when he found out that the horror movie he starred in was going to be remade without him in it. Donning the mask of the twisted character he plays in the film, Carlo brings his role off the screen and into real life, murdering the actors involved in the new movie. A real art imitating life thing going on there, or is that life imitating art? In the 1990s, Batman the Animated Series produced a two-part episode that is regarded among many as one of the defining Clayface stories. The episode, titled Feet of Clay, combined elements of Basil Carlo and Matt Hagen, the second Clayface who developed shape-shifting abilities, and tells the story of an actor who is struggling with an addiction to an experimental miracle cream called Renew You. When applied, the cream conceals his disfigured face. In order to keep a steady supply, Hagen works with RenewU's creator Roland Daggett and agrees to pose as Bruce Wayne in order to kill Lucius Fox, who has incriminating evidence against Daggett. When Hagen botches the job, Daggett orders his thugs to kill him. In a brutal scene, the two henchmen hold Hagen down as they pour mass amounts of RenewU down his throat, failing to kill him, but instead turning him into a grotesque mud-like monster bent on revenge and capable of changing his body into anything or anyone. Now that is a badass story. Like, to me, that is... why would you even try to change it? Though he has been reimagined over the years, Clayface's gooey body and shape-shifting abilities have remained a signature trademark of the character. He has used it time and time again to create havoc in the Dark Knight's life. Recently, in the excellent Batman, the Dark Knight storyline, Clay. Take your shoes off before you come in the house, Bruce. There might be mud on them. That's it for Gotham Secrets this year. Be sure to watch the Gotham season finale next Monday. So that one wasn't even from the finale, but they kind of take a while to get those up there sometimes. And that is the DCTV secrets for this season of DCU Tonight. So we've successfully completed one season of the show. And we want to thank everyone for taking part in DCU Tonight, those who helped us by passing the tweets along on Twitter. DCUO did that for us several times. There's been a number of people who follow the channel and whose channels I follow who have helped us out along the way also. So thanks to you guys who have helped us promote, and we'll be back. We'll keep DCU Tonight will pop on every once in a while because we definitely need to keep up with what's going on in DCUO and what's going on in the comics, but it's really focused around the TV shows, so we'll typically do that during the DCTV season, and we'll just kind of stream throughout the summer because streaming is fun, and that's what summer's for. So, but thank you guys for joining us. Again, our channel is Var Nation. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps us out. We got another sub the other day, so we're up to 175 subs now. We thank each and every one of you. Be sure to leave in the comments of the video what your favorite DC TV show was this season, and if you want to, go ahead and tell us why, and we'll talk about it in our next stream, or we'll talk about it in our next show. And our website's still down, but we'll have it up and running hopefully soon. It's Var Nation, DCUO.com. You can definitely go to our Patreon page and help us live. Patreon.com/Var Nation, or you can support on the YouTube channel. But be sure to share and like the videos. That's the main thing that we need. So, this video will be up on YouTube soon. So, it will see you there. We will not see you there, but it will. And we look forward to another wonderful summer of DC Universe Online. We'll have a summer seasonal event coming up before too long. We'll be beating down Aquaman's men on boats. No, not Aquaman's, his brothers, right? We're helping Aquaman. We're not beating him down. Unless he comes froggy at us, and then we're beating him down. But there you go. So thanks again, guys. It's been fun. This is Rock Var for Hippolyta Kent saying peace out.